Cuddle. Yeah. That's really how I roll, Daddy.
Good morning. Thank you for choosing Bigby. What can I get started for you?
Ha! First customer today, baby.
Yes, you are.
That's right. That's how I roll. Can I trouble you for a large iced mocha with no whipped cream, please?
Absolutely. Would you like to put an extra shot of espresso in there today?
No, you could put a shot of some coffee liqueur in there, though.
I would if I could.
All right, all right. No, I'll just, no shot.
Okay. Anything else for you?
No, thank you.
7:30 today.
Thank you. Bright light, bright light. Hey everybody, how's it going, eh? Todd, the cheap drums guy. Drums. Yeah, I got a lot of drums. I'm a beginner drummer. When I started all this, well, let's go way back. Now, I graduated in 1986. About that time, I was really interested in music, and I kind of wanted to learn an instrument. I didn't take anything in band. Matter of fact, I didn't even go to band. Didn't have anything to do with it in school. But nonetheless, I was interested. And I wanted to explore it a little bit. I thought, why not? You know, I watched people at the school who play guitar, play bass, or play drums, and they had a little bit of a swagger to them. And I thought, well, let me give it a shot. So I went out at 18 years old in 1986 and spent $850 on a Dean Hollywood Z bass guitar. Absolutely beautiful. Even took lessons at our local guitar store for about 2 months. And it was moving at such a snail's pace, I lost interest. Well, so much for that. Fast forward about, my God, how many years was it? Let's just say a couple decades. Just getting out of the Army after 20 some odd years. Living in a 3rd floor apartment, corner apartment. Have a beautiful roommate, but not a lot of things to do in my spare time. So I'm like, well, why don't we try this again now that I have more time on my hands and a lot less to worry about. So off Amazon, I ordered an inexpensive Yamaha electric guitar. All in one inclusive set, you know, with amp and strap and cord and all that kind of crap. And I gave that a shot on my own for a couple weeks. And again, I was moving at a snail's pace. What I really wanted to do, because I love music so much, I just wanted to put on some music and be able to play along with it and try to enjoy it as quickly as I could without the lengthy and expensive process of going through all the training and the coaching and lessons. I'm very impatient. Drums have always been my number one, though. Generally, I shied away from them because I thought it was too expensive. They take up a lot more room than generally a bass guitar or electric guitar. My area is quite filled here with just one extra set, or larger than life set, I guess, larger than normal set. I was worried about the drums though, just for the fact that the footprint they put out on the floor, and they are excessively noisy. Now, living in that apartment, I thought, well, I could just get an electric set. Well, electric sets really weren't highly regarded. And today, unless you spend thousands of dollars, you're still about the same point. But nonetheless, once my wife and I, everything stabilized in life, our house was paid off, I had downstairs here, I was able to actually start with drums as the hobby. You know, a little late in life, well, I started when I was 54, I'm 55 now, but I decided, let's not screw around anymore. Because with the drums, I do have a natural sense of rhythm, and I've got great timing. And I figured with drums, when I put on music, I can start along and play along with music from the start, right away. And I thought that would be the best bet. So I went out and I bought 2 drum sets because I just didn't want some little tiny set. I knew I was going to continue with this for quite a long time, possibly the rest of my life. So I wanted a little bit more than just a basic set. So I ordered a Licks Jam EDM 800 and an Alesis Turbo Mesh to combine the two into a bigger set. And I did, and it worked out fine for me. However, it wasn't long down the road because with electronic drums, all the sounds are processed. And you hit the drum lightly, it's going to make a certain sound. You hit it hard, it's going to make that same sound. You don't get those little nuances and ghost notes with electronic drums as much as you would with acoustic. You can now with a lot of the kits out there, but the ones I had at the time, I could not do that. And it wasn't long down the road that a friend of mine, because he knew that I picked up the electronics, where he worked, a set of drums came in to the Goodwill where he worked. They only wanted $30 for them, so I jumped at it. And then I got hooked. Once I started playing with acoustic sets, I knew there was no turning back. So here I am today with multiple sets, quite a bit of accessories, and a love of playing music, playing along to music. And like I thought, I could put on the music and I could instantly start playing along to it. Instant gratification. The drums are a wonderful, wonderful instrument. And I'm glad the guitars never worked out. Nobody really likes guitar players anyways. They're not cool as drummers. And here I am. And I bought a lot. Everything I bought has pretty much been used. Only thing I bought brand new was my hardware, a set of cymbals, and that snare drum right there. Everything else I have is all used and in very good condition. And I thought, I've got a lot of experience. You know, I can't, I know I can play the drums basically. You know, I'm not an expert at it. I mean, it takes decades to become an expert at playing the drums. So I'm not qualified to coach people on how to play. But I've got a lot of experience with purchasing items and modifying items. So I wouldn't say I'm a seasoned beginner drummer. I'm a very well-soiled beginner's drummer. And I thought, well, this might be the topic of a good video. When a young man, young woman decides they want to pick up the drums. How to do it, where to get the stuff, what do I pay for it, how much do I pay, and what the hell do I do with it when I got it. I can actually add my 2 cents in here because I do have the experience. Now, drums. First of all, when you're starting off, like with any musical instrument, drums are very expensive, or they can be very expensive. You can buy sets all the way up to $40,000 if you really have the coin to invest in something like that. If you're just starting out, I would not recommend it. Would not at all. If you want to get a set of drums, the easiest way first is to check your local area. Thrift stores, Goodwill stores, Facebook Marketplace, which could be a little sketchy, or just want ads. Another way is to stop by your local music store. Sometimes they might have display items, or if they don't have anything there at the store itself, they can probably clue you in on where to get things. Now, again, drums can be very expensive. This set cost me $199 and it's absolutely beautiful. I love this set. This is my favorite set of drums, without question. It is an old vintage Premier Olympic kit. They're one of their baseline models. Mahogany shells. The wrap is nice. And I absolutely love it. It sounds great. And it didn't cost a lot of money. Granted, maybe you want something a little newer. Well, newer doesn't mean better either. Generally, what I've been finding out, vintage seems to be in a lot better made drums than things today. Everything today doesn't seem to be as made as well as it was. But nonetheless, what can you do? A little while later in this video, I'm going to take you to Guitar Center, where I purchased a lot of my material, or a lot of my stuff over the past year and a half, going on 2 years now. It's all been quite favorable, and I've been pretty happy with everything I've done through them, and they've been good to me. But just starting off, you probably don't know what you're doing, like I didn't. I kind of guessed at everything. Now, generally, I look at everything. I do my homework first, and then I invest. So, you got to start with your drums. Now, as a recommendation, I would not go more than $300 or $400 on your first drum set. Generally, you don't know if you're going to take to the drums. If you have that natural built-in rhythm, your timing is good. Also, one thing you have to take into account, the people who live with you. If you're down in a basement, everybody upstairs is going to hear you. Now, my basement is finished. It's as far as sound goes, it doesn't carry sound. It doesn't echo in here. It absorbs the sound, so it doesn't disturb my wife or anybody else in the house. And I can make a hell of a lot of racket. But generally, if you live in just an unfinished, your drums are down in an unfinished basement, everybody's going to hear it upstairs quite a bit. You also have to take into consideration, do you live in an apartment? Yeah. People in apartment buildings don't want to hear a set of drums next door. They just don't. People get in the home, they want quiet, they want peace. All right, so let's not disturb that. Okay, so maybe now is the time that you want to get your first set of drums. Maybe you find one at Goodwill or through a thrift store or through a friend. Friends can be great resources as well. And you find a set of drums. Great. If not, you have to buy a set. Does a brand name really matter? No, it does not. A brand name does not matter. From the start, again, you don't know where you're going with this and how long it's going to last. So it's not about trying to impress your friends. If you can walk in to your friend's house with a $2,000 Tama kit and blow everybody's mind, oh, that's a beautiful kit. When you don't know how to set it up or don't know how to play it, what the hell good is it doing you? It's not. I didn't care about brand names. Still, well, I can't say that I don't now, because now I found my niche in the drum world. I like British-made Premier drums, generally vintage. Very difficult because information is scarce, parts are scarce, and it can be a pain in the ass sometimes. But that's just me. But for you, don't worry about the brand name. It doesn't have to be Tama, it doesn't have to be Ludwig, it doesn't have to be Pearl, it can be Sunlight, it could be Remo, or it can be any name under the sun, just as long as the shells are good to go. Now, as far as drums, if you have the opportunity to actually inspect the drums before you buy them or before you get them, there's a few things you want to take a look at first. I wouldn't concern yourself too much with the wrap, unless that's a real major problem, then that's fine. But one thing you want to do is you want to check on all the hardware. Now your lugs in conjunction with your tension rods is what holds your hoops down, holds your heads in place, and to tighten and to tune your drums. You want to make sure all that stuff is there. Like floor toms, the legs. You want to make sure the legs are there. Very important. If not, you're going to have to buy those. Generally, a lot of times when you're just starting out, you don't have that big a budget to throw around with extra stuff all the time. So you generally want everything complete when you get it initially. Heads are going to be kind of a costly little addition. You can't avoid it though. Generally with an old set of drums that you get from somebody or you're buying, generally your heads are going to be shot. There's a pretty good chance. With a little bit of playing, you're going to notice marks on your heads. Mine all have marks on it. On an old set someone's getting rid of, generally your heads are going to be dented. They're going to be caved in a little bit because of excessive use or wear. There's really nothing you can do about that. What I've always done is, even before I got the drums, or as I ordered the drums, I also ordered brand new heads. So I was never disappointed. If the heads on that drum set came and they were in good shape, that's a bonus. Take them off, put them on the shelf, save them for later, any rainy day projects, or as replacement if something bad happens. And I always put the new heads on because I knew I was going to be happy with the brand new heads. Now, if you get your set and it's got old heads on it and the drums sound bad, it's not the drums, it's just the heads. I've heard so many people bring drum sets back or sell their drums because when they first bought it they sounded great, but after a few years of playing it they just sound terrible. It's not your drums. Your heads went bad. Replace the heads and learn to tune them. You won't have an issue anymore. But that's fine. Let's skip ahead. You already got your drums now. Where do we go from there? Drums aren't going to do you much good just sitting down in your basement, just as they are. You're going to need hardware. You're going to need accessories still. Now, any woman buys a new dress or a new outfit. She can't just stop with that. She has to get accessories for that outfit. Women are very expensive. So are drums, but not as expensive as a wife. Trust me, I know this. You're going to need to get hardware. No, the drums, I did not mind buying used. Not at all. I can fix them up. I can do a lot of things to them to bring them up to a better condition myself. Saves you money. But the hardware, I decided to buy brand new. Now, a lot of the brands, Tama, Pearl, Ludwig, DeDrum, all have hardware sets you can buy, readily put together. You get your hi-hats, or your hi-hat stand, excuse me. You get your kick pedal, which is very important, and you usually get 1 or 2 cymbal stands to go with it, usually a boom stand and a straight stand. A straight stand is a cymbal stand, the base. The shaft comes straight up to hold the cymbal. There's no adjustment, it just stands up straight up and down. And you have your boom stands, which has a little adjustable arm at the top to be able to move your cymbal in closer to you, providing, you can't get the stand up close as you want to the drums. You just bring your boom stand out a little bit, or your boom arm, bring your cymbal up closer. I opted to buy brand new for this because I wanted it to work flawlessly all the time. And it has. I bought the DeDrum series RX, the Drum RX series hardware pack, and it's been infallible. It's worked perfectly for me. The kick drum pedal, it's a dual chain, which is very important, very strong. I know it's going to last. It's got a lot of different adjustments, plus with the beater on it, which actually hits your batter head of your bass drum. It's got 4 different settings, 4 different beaters you can use. Your hi-hat, my hi-hat stand is quite adjustable also for as much pressure, or if you want to put more pressure or less pressure on it to get it to operate effectively. I thought it was really important for myself to go with this set. It was inexpensive too. You're looking at, for a complete hardware set, under $300. I believe Ludwig had the cheapest set. At the time I was looking, I think it was about $225 for the set, which was your hi-hat, your kick pedal, and 2 cymbal stands. I think that was it. Mine was a little more expensive. I think I paid $270 for it. But you can also buy these pieces separately, and sometimes, not always, but sometimes on Guitar Center in their used section, you can find complete hardware packs. I also know you can go on Amazon, and there's a company named Griffin. They also sell a hardware pack that is very inexpensive for first-time buyers. Now, they're not super heavy-duty equipment. It's not super heavy-duty. It's not something you want to go touring around the country in. It's a basic set for you to get started with, and it should serve fine. Generally, I don't know why people invest a lot in cymbal stands. Mine just pretty much sit there and do nothing except to hold a cymbal up. Do I need to spend $800 on a cymbal stand? No, I do not. So I bought used ones for $20, $30. That's not a problem. As long as they look good, I can shine them up. They serve their purpose. But hardware is very important. You want to have infallible hardware. Now, moving on. Cymbals. Yeah, there's another costly one. Let's talk about cymbals. All right. These are some expensive Frisbees, or they can be. Cymbals, like drums, usually come with a pretty hefty price tag. That's unfortunate. There are lots of different brands, lots of different makes and models, thicknesses, finishes, materials they're made out of. Generally, with beginner drummers and readily put together kits, you can buy drum sets that if the drums, the hardware, the cymbals included with it, what you're going to get are brass cymbals. Now, generally brass cymbals are the least desirable because they're made of brass. Generally, they're not well suited to producing beautiful cymbal-like sounds. However, there are a few brands out there that do produce sets of brass cymbals that are worth looking at. Now, if you buy a set of Tama drums online, usually fully encompassed kit, you get everything with it. Generally, you're going to get Meinl brass cymbals. Now, arguably, Meinl makes possibly the best brass cymbals out there in a set called the HCS. Even though they're brass, they can be quite musical and they do sound pretty decent. Paiste also makes their 101s, which I've heard before, and they sound decent as well. When you're just starting out, you don't need top-of-the-line cymbals because, again, like with drums, you can spend a lot of money on your drum set, but when things just don't work out and you want to sell it, there's a pretty good chance you're going to lose a lot of money because you can put it up there. Well, I spent $1,000 on this cymbal. I'm going to sell it for $1,000. You're not going to get it. Just not going to happen. It's only worth what someone is willing to pay for it. And trust me, everybody is cheap. If they can get that $1,000 cymbal of yours for $50, they're damn well going to do everything possible to get it. So you have a lot of different options. If you're not too concerned with the brand, which makes it a lot easier, you can mix and match with used cymbals, like I'll go over shortly with purchasing used at Guitar Center, just to give you an example. You can also buy cymbal sets, which are readily put together sets. You have your hi-hats, and there's two sets of two cymbals with the hi-hat, usually 14-inch. Sometimes you get a crash, 2 crashes, or a crash ride. It all depends on how the set's put together. But generally you can save a little bit of money doing it that way, and that's with brand new. Now and again, you can find a used set of cymbals for a greatly reduced price. But for the most part, throughout your drumming career, after you get a little bit more refined ear, you're going to purchase them individually. I started off with a brand new set of cymbals. That's just what I did. I bought a set of Peisty PST7s. It gave me a ride, 2 crashes, and my hi-hats, and I paid $445 for it. If I would have went the used route, I could have pieced together the set for half the cost. Now, when it comes to actually buying the drums, there's a lot of places you can go to. Businesses like Sweetwater, Zalman's Guitar Center are some of the biggest out there. You also have Reverb, and eBay. I was hesitant to use eBay and Reverb just for the fact you're not exactly sure on where you're getting it from. Same thing with like something like Facebook Marketplace. I mean, there's a lot of weird stories with Facebook Marketplace, so I tended to stay away from that. So I stuck to Guitar Center. And let me show you how easy it is to go to Guitar Center to see what you're trying to find. Guitar Center official site. Now, page pulls up, and over here you'll see used and vintage, and then there's a drop down menu. You go down to drums. Used drums, percussions. 2,500 listings. That's both snares and drum sets. Go down to the left down here where it says acoustic drums. And then back to used acoustic drums, but it also still has the snares mixed in. Click acoustic drum sets. And there we go. And they usually start off with their newest listings first. But go over here to the right where it says display. That's at 24. Go to, on the pull down menu, to 96. Come over here where it says newest first. Sorry, early in the morning, I'm kind of congested. Where it says newest first. Hit that again. Go down to where it says price low to high. Click. 1,105 drum sets that are used. Ready to come home with you. Now, when they first start off, a lot of these might be kid sets, or also sets that are missing parts, you know, for a part source, or if you have a drum project and you just need certain pieces or certain shells. Usually the first ones, that's where you can find them. Except we do have a Gammon percussion set. It's a 4-piece for $89.99. $90 for a drum set. Groove percussion set, $114. A Remo Enforcer Gretsch Energy, which is a low-end beginner set. That's $129. The farther you go, of course, the higher the prices go, but the better quality sets. And right here, used Sunlight Taiwan drum set. Now, Sunlight is a brand you haven't heard of before. It's an off-brand. It's made by one of the bulk producers of drums, like all drum sets are actually. If you didn't spend $3,000 or $4,000 on your drum set and you spent less, chances are it was probably made in a bulk by just a couple of companies, either in China or Taiwan. But all sorts of different brand names. You know, you can come up with your own drum company and order bulk sets and put your own name on it. I mean, money talks. But generally, these sets are actually built to pretty decent standards, and they're pretty high quality, although the hardware will be lesser grade. You keep scrolling down. Ludwig Accent kit. Ludwig Accent are one of the newer sets out. It's less than $150. And they just keep coming. Tama Swing Star, Pearl Forum, Sonar Force, PDP, Remo, Ludwig, and let's skip ahead actually. I don't know if you noticed too, there are also drum sets that are still in the box, like this Pearl Vision for $219. Sometimes the companies have a display model. They have it out on the floor. They repack it after it's served its purpose. They'll repack it to its original box. Sometimes somebody orders a drum set. Midway through the shipping process, it gets sent back. So it's no longer brand new. It's used because it was bulk purchased and it's just sent back. There's a lot of different reasons why stuff could still be in the box. But generally, that's a pretty good sign. Drum set, a Pearl drum set, still in the box for $219. Now let's skip ahead quite a bit to page 5. Now we're in the $300 to $400 range, and the sets do get better. A Ludwig Rocker drum set for $399, beautiful finish, and then Tama Superstar for $404.99, $400. Beautiful, beautiful scheme on the drums itself. If you're willing to spend a little bit more money for it, I personally, for your first drum set, I wouldn't recommend going higher than $400. You don't know if you're going to take to this, if you're going to be a natural at the drums. You don't want to spend too much. You don't want to, generally maybe you don't want to spend $100. You want something a little higher quality. I bought a drum set for $100 and it was a pretty good quality little drum set. But if you want to play it safer and go with a little bit more higher quality, spend a little bit more money, then do so. It's your money. But I wouldn't go higher than $400. Drums do retain their value somewhat. It's like buying anything. You buy it for this amount of money. When you try to sell it again, you're only going to get this amount of money. So you don't want too much regarding losses. Guitar Center. I have the closest Guitar Center to me is 2.5 hours away. If I bought a drum set through them and I did not like it and I wanted to take it back, I'd take it down to the Guitar Center. They're probably going to give you maybe half of what you purchased it for, and then they're going to jack up the price, put it back on their website. So be advised, you don't want to spend too much in case you don't fit in with the drums and you want to get rid of them. So you want to minimize your losses. Notice this Tama Imperial Star right here, and that's listed for $419. It's in the newest wrap that they came out with this year. So right there, you're getting about, let's see, what was that? That's an Imperial Star for $419. That's half the price of a brand new one. Now that is this year's model. Well, it's probably last year's model actually, but this is what they're selling this year in that specific wrap. So you're getting half off a drum set. And you also can look, let me just click on this one real quick. Okay, condition used, excellent condition. Now there's a little, where it says excellent, there's a little black dot right next to it. You can hover over that and it'll tell you what they mean by excellent condition. The Guitar Center, excellent means shows little to no signs of use at all. So even the heads are in probably pretty good shape. Quite often you find, like with all my drum sets that I bought 4. I've had quite a bit. But most of my drum sets were in fair condition. But there was a reason for that. if you bring it, or if they bring a drum set in and someone's been playing it for a long time, the shells can be absolutely perfect, not a scratch on them, but the heads are worn. They'll knock down the condition of it just because the heads are bad. That doesn't mean the drums are bad, just the heads are bad. But the heads, don't take that into consideration when you're buying right off the bat, because I've always bought new heads. When I've ordered a drum set, I ordered new heads to go with it. Don't want to take a chance on what you get. But this one says excellent condition. Now, we're going to take a little closer look at it. Click the picture again. Okay, closer view. Double click the picture. Whoops, single click it. Now, use your scroller on your mouse and blow it up. Okay. What you're looking at is the hardware. Now, you can see you got a pretty good view of all the hardware. All the lugs are there, all the tension rods. The Rezo head on the bass drum is intact, it's not wrecked. That's the only head I generally worried about, was the Rezo head on the bass drum, because it's one of the most expensive just to replace by itself. Now this kit is kind of nice because you have added a little feature in it. Someone spent 50 bucks to put a kick port on there. Does it really matter? No. Is it a nice accessory to have on your bass drum? Oh yeah, of course. Plus it makes it look cool. This is what I would do. I would just search. I always search, check the hoops, make sure all the lugs, tension rods are there. The tom mount is there. If you can see, tom mount. You just want to make sure there's no pieces missing off it the best you can with the picture. If you're uncertain, each guitar center that this drum set, I can't remember where this drum set was listed at, but it'll tell you where, and you can click on that and it'll bring up the phone number. If you have any questions about a kit before you order it, call them. Every time I've done this, whoever picked up the phone, they would take the phone, go right over to the drum set and tell you exactly what you want to see or know about that kit right then and there. Now, this set, there is an issue. But don't you see it, that kit in that picture? You know, tom arms. The tom tree that comes out of the bass drum, you do not see it in the picture. So there's a pretty good chance that it's not included. For some reason, whoever brought these drums in there did not bring that with them. Also, you don't see any floor tom legs. So you got to keep that in the back of your mind. Now, if there's anything else information-wise listed about the drums, you scroll down to the lower left. Description. One kick drum, 20 by 16, one floor tom, 14 by 13, two rack toms, 12 by 8, 10 by 7. That's all it says. It doesn't say anything about the tom tree. No biggie. I'm not interested in that. That's a tom set. Let's find another one right here. Okay. Here's a Tama Club Jam for a 424. This is another recent addition to Tama's line. Alright, this one has several pictures. Just take a look at that. Okay, looking at all the hardware. Hoops look nice with the finish too, it's kind of nice. You see on top, you're probably wondering what that is. That's a bass drum lifter. This is evidently a smaller bass drum, probably a 16-inch. Generally you need a lifter to bring the back end up. And that's what that is. I can tell because I have one downstairs, I know what it is. There's one of the bass drum legs, another one right here. This one has two pictures to go with it. A lot of these will have multiple pictures. Alright,
Let's see what we got here. Doesn't seem to be a lot on this kit. Let's look down here. Okay. This one is a good example of what I'm telling you about. It includes carrying bags, protective bags for your drums. If you're a gigging drummer, the bags help protect it in transportation. Includes the drums and barely used skins, which are the heads. So someone didn't use this drum set a lot. So there you go, you're saving some money. Not having to buy new heads, unless they were the original ones that came with the drum. They're probably single ply, Chinese made Remo UT heads. They're good to get you started, but not my thing. You get a 16-inch kick drum, a 12-inch floor tom, and a 10-inch rack tom. And it says this product comes with a bag, meaning you can store all your stuff and take it with you. If you're a gigging drummer, it's a very small kit. It's like a little pub kit. That's fine to any. I mean, it's not a bad deal. I always looked for other things. Like I said, missing tom tree. Sometimes they'll mention that, sometimes they won't. If you have a question about it, call them. They will tell you if it's there or not. They can also tell you the condition of the heads. They can tell you anything you want. And they're really honest about it. I mean, they're not going to baffle you with a bunch of BS just to try to sell a drum set. Because if you have a problem with it, you're just going to send it back. And then they're going to be stuck with it. If the wrap is bad on it, they'll tell you the wrap is bad where it's bubbling in a couple of spots. I'm not that concerned about it. And generally, in a way, if you're just starting off, you really don't have to be that concerned either. Down the road, if you still like the drum set and the wrap is getting worse, you can always take the drums apart, take the wrap off, and there's usually left, you're usually rewarded with a really nice wooden finish underneath. But it's pretty easy to shop at Guitar Center. Cymbals, generally cymbals are a lot harder when you want to go through that list because there's so many of them. So you have to kind of pick and choose what brands you use. Generally brands, depends, you know, just starting out, brands really aren't that important. But when you're searching on Guitar Center's website, just because the amount of cymbals, you want to narrow the search down a little bit. If you're partial to Meinl, you're partial to Paiste, or partial to Sabian, add that into your list because it'll have the brand names off to the side too, and you can choose which ones you go through. And like I did before, add the amount of items per page, 24 to 96. Start from price low to high, and then put in your brand. You'd be surprised what you can find, even with the lower prices. Brass cymbals usually start off the mix. Brass are the least desirable cymbals, but you'd be surprised. I've even found cymbals, higher quality cymbals, mixed in with the brass. Maybe there was an issue with it, there's a scratch, someone got paint on it, the logos aren't pristine or whatever, or maybe there even might be a small crack. Now, to a lighter hitter like me, I'm not concerned with small cracks, but when you can find a 20-inch ride cymbal made of B20 bronze for 60 bucks, that's a pretty good deal. And again, with like the drums, if you have an issue about that cymbal or a question about it, call them. They will tell you any issues.
I have no idea who you are and why you're sending me this crazy pictures. Delete. Block. This world's becoming a toilet. So where are you going to put your drums? Answer is you're probably going to be stuck down in the basement. Drums do take up a large amount of real estate. Generally upstairs there's not a large amount of real estate that's going to be offered to you. I'm fortunate that we have a finished basement. Carpet, ceiling tiles, and paneling on the walls. Not a lot of echo down here. It absorbs it quite well. I've seen a lot of drum sets in people's basement, just straight cinder block walls, open concrete everywhere. I think that's maybe one thing that kind of forces people out of drumming, because when you have the acoustics such as you do in that type of basement, it just sounds terrible. But if that's all that you're left with, there are ways to improve upon the sound. Now, generally, my wife and I, we have we have a lot of sets of linen. We have a lot of old comforters left over and a lot of new comforters. You can always take these old comforters and tack them up along the ceiling around you. It's going to help absorb the sound, keep the echo down. You can use moving boxes and build little walls. Build yourself a little drum room out of boxes stacked up. Boxes you can get free in a lot of places. If you go around the dumpsters on big box stores or grocery stores, there's always a lot of cardboard boxes outside. If you talk to the manager, maybe they'll give them to you. And if that's the case, and if you don't mind the extra boxes in your basement, which you're probably going to use down the road anyways, why not build a wall surrounding your drum set? Maybe 10 feet out from the drums this way, 10 feet out that way, 10 feet out that way. And what does it do? It's going to it's going to reduce all the extra noise that you're going to get with a set of drums. Oh my gosh. The echo down in some of these basements, I mean, it's just, the sound is just outrageous. Here it's a lot warmer sound because the sound and all the extra little noises associated with drums are absorbed into both the ceiling and the carpet, and I'm not disturbing my wife upstairs, and she doesn't come down with a big stick and hit me with it. But like I had mentioned before, if you lived in an apartment, an electronic drum set might be a better way to go for you, because generally if you show up in an apartment and you have a large acoustic set and you start banging away, yeah, it's not going to go well for you. Wish you guys would quit moving around so damn much. So to me, this video was kind of important to put out for those of you interested in starting with drums. Those of you who just started with drums. I'm a beginner myself. So we're on the same level here. New drummers, mediocre drummers, and guys have been doing it for 5-10 years. You know, we are the majority. We're not the minority. There's a lot more of us newbies out there than there are professionals. Again, I am a beginner. I wouldn't really call me a seasoned beginner, more of a soiled beginner, because I've been there, done that, and I got the t-shirt to prove it. But I wanted to put out a little video to help you guys, because this is a wonderful instrument. To me, it's a wonderful hobby. That's how I deal with drums. Drums are a hobby of mine. I don't take lessons. That's not saying that you should not. No, take lessons. If you're a young person, if you have the opportunity while in school to join band and take drum lessons, get on a drum line, by all means, do it. It is going to be beneficial. And it's also a good network, because you get to mix with other drummers, and where you can locate equipment, you can get help really easily. I myself, like I said, I do not take lessons. I work full-time. I take care of my family, take care of my house. I do have the time to do so. I just choose not to. I am not trying to get to a professional level where I'm out gigging on the weekends. I'm just a hobbyist. I like to put the music on and I like to play along with it. That's as far as I want to take this, and that's as far as I'm going to go. But if you have the opportunity to get that free training at your high school or junior high school, by all means get up there and do it, because lessons do cost quite a bit of money. If you want to take this to another level and you already have your own equipment, which is greatly beneficial, and outside of school you wanted to go to a drum coach, also a very good and very wise choice, because I generally, when I learn something, I try to figure it out myself. or I actually look it up online to try how to do it myself. More often than not, it's much easier to go over something with a drum coach because he's going to teach you the right way to do it. You're going to learn your rudiments. Generally, that's one thing that's going to slow me down because I don't want to start with basic. I'm a little bit more advanced for that. I can keep a tune, I can keep a beat. I don't want to learn rudiments, but that's just me. But if you want to continue on and become a professional drummer or a gigging drummer, rudiments and training like that are very, very important, without question. I just like to play the music. That's what I like to do. Online, you can find a number of good drum coaches. I actually have 3 drum coaches. 2 are in the United, well, actually, 2 are in the United Kingdom, and 1 is in Ireland. And it's interesting. Are they watching me for tips and trade? No, they're not. I think, I'm not exactly sure why they're subscribed to me. I think just because I have a different approach to things, I guess maybe that's it. But each one of them have their own site. Each one you can contact individually for help, and they will gladly do it. They love doing it, and from what I know, for watching the ones from the United Kingdom, they're very skilled and very good at what they do, and I've learned a lot just from watching their videos alone. But anytime you have an opportunity with school or a drum instruction or a drum coach on YouTube, by all means, take the instruction. It just builds and builds and builds. Even if you don't use what they taught you, just having it in the back of your head is going to help you with a lot of different things down the road. And again, if you're just starting off in this, it would greatly benefit you. Now, one thing that I will tell you to do is play along to music. Before you take in any instruction whatsoever, before you do any schooling, and you do have your stuff, even if it's a hi-hat, a kick drum, and just a snare, is to play along to music. Studying with coaches and instructors is boring. Schoolwork is boring. Doing, beginning music lessons, you're going to be bored with it. The one thing that will keep your interest is to start playing music instantly. So even though you're going to teach you did your drum work in school with band, maybe you're taking lessons on the weekends to your drum instructor, which is very important. But when you're done with that, go home, put the music on, and play along to music. Play along to your favorite music. But another good thing to do is put the radio on. You're going to get random songs. You might not know the song. That's all right. Play along to it, because you're going to learn more on your own by yourself, just playing to music, than any instructor is ever going to be able to teach you. So by all means, that is one of the most important things to do. That's how I'm learning primarily. And if I need extra, then I turn to an instructor or coach and ask what to do, or just watch one of his videos. But anyways, I got things to do. I'm Todd, the Cheap Drums Guy, and I hope this little video has been helpful to you. And if you are just coming into drums, just starting off, good luck to you. It is a wonderful, wonderful hobby of mine, and I hope you'll enjoy it as well. And get the help if you need it. But you guys take care of yourselves. Have a great weekend. Be good to each other. Peace.